What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I am Jeff Hartman, one of the hosts here, as we break it all down for you, getting into bowl season and the NFL season coming to a close, heading into week 17, a full slate, and then week 18 next week. But joining me, as always, the man with the picks, Pez. What's going on, Pez?
Jeff, it's for a gambler, it's the best and worst 2 weeks of the year. We got a bunch of work going on. We got games at the wazoo, but we're happy. We're above water. We're winning. We're up here in the mountains of New England and Vermont, Jeff, and it's snowing. It's snowing. I mean,
Yeah,
how can we get angry when it's snowing and Santa's coming? I hope Santa came for you, Jeff. We got everything we wanted. We didn't get the win. I mean, Pittsburgh let us down, but Santa still came to our house up here, Jeff. We had some great stuff. We got some new skis and new skis. I mean, what else do you need on the mountain? That's all
that's
we can
true.
ask for.
That's true. Santa left a lot on the table for me in terms of the Steelers, but we'll not talk about that right now. Let's talk about where we were last week and then where we are moving into this week in terms of season totals. Last week in college football, we went 1-2. Last week in the National Football League, we went 3-2. So let's recap our season totals. In the NCAA, we've now been for 5 games above 500, 30-25. In the NFL, a little bit of a rebound there, 37-29 total, according to my count. So not too shabby. Let's go back and look at our college picks from last week. We both agreed, and I'm not that I'm making picks, but I agreed with you that Penn State and Ohio State were kind of frauds, but it turns out the first round of the NCAA playoffs was a fraud. Those two teams win, they cover, and we lose those games, but we rebound on Monday with Northern Illinois, Fresno State, Northern Illinois giving 2.5, they cover. So we do win one. What did you think about last week's games in college football?
Jeff, we got embarrassed a little bit by the Big Ten. Apparently, they had a little bit more in the tank than we thought. I still think Penn State's a fraud, Jeff. I'm going to say it loud and proud. I think Boise State next week we'll be talking about that team a lot. But credit to them, awful. I mean, both teams we took, they didn't show up for this game. So Penn
Yeah.
State, Ohio State, it appeared the home field advantage still made a difference, which was unclear going in. They don't have the dorms open in Penn State, Jeff. I had some colleagues, kids that told me they had nowhere to sleep. So I thought, hey, no home field advantage. Apparently that wasn't true. I don't know where they slept on the field, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think that the SEC is still a better conference, and I think the Big Ten does not have the offensive power to win these games going forward. Northern Illinois, Jeff, I got a little tip on that one. I don't want to. Maybe I shouldn't reveal this, but anyway, Northern Illinois went into that game. They looked at that game as a real game. They had a bunch of seniors, and with the transfer portal, I read the Kansas State coach. He said, I don't know who's on campus every day, let alone I don't know who's going to be on my team at the end of sundown. So it's the Wild West in college football. Northern Illinois, they took their beats. I mean, they lost a lot of people, but they had 30 seniors returning. Those kids want to play. So I think at the end of the day, when you were looking at these non-playoff college action for this year, and I don't know what's going to happen going forward, but we got to look at senior-laden teams. We got to look at teams that have pride, something to play for. And I think when you have a team that's in this quagmire of you walk by a guy on campus, go, you on the team or not today? I don't think that's something that we can really invest our money into. And so we got to really do our research on these college games. It's going to be a day of thing. Stuff's changing daily. When you have when you have players that are walking campuses that aren't on the team or might be, you got agents too, Jeff, and agents, lawyers. I love them. I almost was one, Jeff. I probably should have been, but anyway, they're blood sucking thieves, right? At the end of the day, as Warren, I can't remember his last name, Jeff. Lawyers, guns, and money. I mean, that's all we're talking about here, right? So those are three bad things. And when you have lawyers and agents on campus, I think you can forget about investing money on these teams. That's why we're going to stick to the playoffs. We're looking for advantages, and if we find them, we're going to jump on them.
I think you're thinking of the artist Warren Zevon, who
There he is, Jeff.
also
There he
there it
is.
is. Look at me. Look at me here. That's
Lawyers, guns, and money. Is there a
yeah.
better song out there? I don't think there is, but
I don't
that
know.
is the
Hey,
world.
his Werewolves of London is a pretty good song too.
Fantastic. And at college football is the Wild West like we haven't seen in organized, I'll say organized, in legitimate gambling, Jeff. We haven't seen this, right? There's no
Yeah.
injury report that's valid. There's no roster that's valid. You've got guys that are going to – tonight we have Kansas State Rutgers. We're looking at Kansas State heavy, Jeff, and, Rutgers running back, he's pulled out. He's in the transfer portal. The guy from Kansas State declared for the draft, so he said, I'm not playing tonight. I'm going to be a coach. I don't know what that means, Jeff. I know he's not playing, so that changed our bet a little bit. So we got to tread lightly going into college football going forward.
Did you hear the report? Or I don't know if this is true. So I hate spreading crap, but at the same time, I think it's important. There was a report that a playoff team, that this is a team that's in the playoffs, had to go to their players and say, we will pay you to stay. Meaning there were players that were not starters that thought they were going to have a better opportunity somewhere else, and they were looking to leave. And they said, we aren't going to have enough players to practice unless we pay them to stay at least throughout the playoffs. This is insanity to me, Pez.
Jeff, we've got some sources. We don't want to reveal who they are because it might be illegal. I don't know. But anyway, Jeff, we've got people in the room, in the locker room. There are guys getting $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 checks who are special teams players. And I think it's legal, right? I don't know. Is it legal or is it not? We've got boosters coming in. God knows what they're doing. And like you said, to keep a practice squad together, or maybe to limit another team's advantage this year or next year. It's a Wild West like I've never seen in, so-called organized gambling, where we had injury reports, we had definitive lines. And I think college football, these 2 weeks, you got to really do your homework. And I think there are advantages out there. But we're back to old school, Jeff. You got to read local newspapers again. You got to read school newspapers. You got to get people on the ground. So the internet, I think right now is a little bit behind, unless you're on some sort of special site where, they're stealing signs or something. But I think they arrested that kid. So I think you got to get back to your real homework, and you got to pay attention. You got to watch pregame. You got to really dig deep into local news, because a lot of these schools, there might not be. I mean, who's Kansas State's newspaper, Jeff? I don't know if Kansas has a paper in a newspaper anymore. I don't know. So we got to dig deep, and we got to be careful treading forward in these waters for sure.
Yeah, it feels like they need. There's people said that Nick Saban would be the perfect guy to be a commissioner, to lay rules and say, hey, if you're committed to this program, you are with that program until the season ends, and then you can enter the portal. Or if they handle like the NFL does, where no one moves until you have this official start of the new league year, in which case players couldn't move in a portal until the national championship is completed. They need some regulations, Pez. You can see it the more and more that we watch this. USA, you call it the Wild West, and I agree. But this week, NCAA, you're not really thinking, you said the lean of Kansas State, but you're not really sure. You might just take the week off.
Well, Jeff, as a gambler, we couldn't be a gambling show, Jeff, if we didn't bet this week. So, of course, we're not taking the week off. Maybe we should, but as any real gambler, holiday week, Jeff, you got to lay action, right? We got action every day. In the old days, we'd have a lot more. But, Rutgers, Kansas State, we're taping on Thursday this week. So, a game we had earmarked. And, I'm not sure if we can take this game. We've got both running backs missing. We've got Monagai and Rutgers is gone. We've got Gideons is gone in Kansas State. Sirianni, the coach of the Rutgers, he claims that they have a full squad. He's got commitment. I'm not sure if we're going to take this game or not. Kansas State's laying 7. We had a strong lean on Rutgers, but when you talk about a guy who had 13, 14 touchdowns and a running back who's gone, that's the heart and soul of their team. What effect does that have? I'm a Rutgers guy, Jeff, so I got a little bit of contact in there. I'm digging deep into the locker room today. Maybe we have a lean on that game. I'm not sure yet, though. Another one we liked a lot. We had earmarked all week, Jeff. I wish we would have recorded last week. We had Syracuse. I think at the beginning of the week they were laying like 9. Now they're laying 17 at Washington State. Washington State, I don't even know how they're fielding a team, Jeff. I think the coach is gone. Everybody's gone. They're admitting we're playing new guys. I don't know if 17 points. I mean, that sounds like a ridiculous number. To me, that almost makes us change and want to go with Washington State. 17 says Vegas does not want you betting Syracuse. They must have $1 billion on Syracuse right now, which to me, as a gambler, says maybe Washington State's the play. We're going to repunch that data in those numbers with a 17-point spread. I don't know. We're going to have to really dig deep. Now we're looking into backups. What are their numbers? Are they coming out of high school, last year's college, et cetera? Washington State claims they've got replacements, so we'll have to really dig on that one. A game we like on Saturday, Vanderbilt. At the end of the day, that's another Friday game actually. Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt. I don't know. Are the horses in Georgia Tech playing Haynes King and I can't remember the other guy's name right now, Jeff. But Georgia Tech had a legitimate offense, running back, quarterback, both hurt. I don't know if either are going to play. We're going to have to really look into that. When we look at Vandy, I mean, the best upset team in college football we had in a long time. Diego Pavia, fantastic quarterback in Vanderbilt. I mean, they were the Kingslayers this year in terms of Game of Thrones. They were the small person, Jeff, that killed everybody. So that's the Kingslayer right now. I don't know if everyone's playing. I don't know if they know. So as of now, we've got leans. We've got a Kansas State lean. We've got a Vanderbilt lean. We've got a Syracuse lean. And, looking on Saturday, maybe Miami, but that's going to be a quagmire. And who knows what's going on in Miami. I mean, these guys, they can transfer an hour before the game. So as of right now, we've got 3 leans, Kansas State, Vanderbilt, Syracuse, but we're going to have to wait for those to be official.
Okay, so make sure you check out Pez's Picks on social media. That's at Pez's Picks on Instagram and Twitter/X. Let's move to the NFL. NFL last week winning. Hey, bounce back. We had an 0 for 1. Sorry. NFL, we've been better after an 0 for 4 2 weeks ago. We were 3-1 the week prior after that. Then we went 3-2 last week. Those games were the wins. You predicted Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons would beat up on the Giants and cover 8.5, and they did. You also said the Baltimore Ravens were going to potentially beat the Steelers by 2 scores, and they did. You also had Justin Herbert throwing an interception. It was plus 122 odds. That happened. And the losses, though, man, your Birds at the Commanders, they lose outright, let alone the Washington Commanders getting 3 there. And Tampa Bay in primetime in Dallas can hold on. So there's your 3 wins and 2 losses. Thoughts on last week's action?
With Philly, I mean, 11 plays in, we lose Jalen Hurts. Still should have won that game, Jeff. I don't know what the hell happened at the end of that game. Two games the Eagles have lost this year exactly the same way. And, did we go to a prevent defense in the last series? It looks like it did. I don't know what happened. I can't hate the Birds, though, Jeff. When you lose your starting quarterback 11 plays in, who knows what you're getting? And, we got your old guy Pickens. And he's not too hot, but he did okay. Tampa, biggest disappointment of the year. We have 2 teams this year that are big disappointments, Jeff. Tennessee and Tampa. Prior to the season started, we had both marked for playoff teams, both marked for winning a lot of games, double-digit wins, and both have not panned out. I don't know what's going on with Tampa. I think Baker is not their problem. The guys played really well. Defense hasn't put up as much as we thought they would. And, maybe Dak Prescott's not that good, Jeff, right? Maybe he isn't the issue in Dallas. Maybe he's not the winner loss issue. I don't think quarterback is what's preventing Dallas from winning games. So I don't think Dallas we should look at as Dak's out. I don't think it's much of a change, Jeff. I think whoever they're putting in there, the system is what it is. And so, Dallas, we're looking at it a little bit differently. I don't think it's a backup quarterback situation. This week, we've got a ton of plays, Jeff. We had one yesterday. We lost, right? We went in and, Pittsburgh let us down. That's fine. I still love them, Jeff, and I still have high hopes for Pittsburgh. I think it's a team on the mend, and they got screwed in the schedule, so I'm still with them. Tonight, we're taping Thursday. We're just going to run them down first, Jeff. Then we can talk about each game. We're going Chicago plus 4.5. That's tonight. We're going Cincinnati -3. We've got the Rams -6.5. Green Bay even. Buffalo -8.5. And then to finish off the week, we're going Atlanta, Washington over 47.5. So, that's going to be 7 plays on the week. If my math is right there, I believe it is. and these are the weeks I think, Jeff, you can really jump at advantages. You've got teams that are hanging it up, and you've got teams in situations that it's almost a must-win situation. I think tonight in Chicago, they're in a must-win situation. You've got Caleb Williams maybe playing for his career. Guy hasn't thrown a turnover in a long time. I believe it's 2 months. So I don't think he's the issue as much as, the whole team losing a coach or not driving as well. Geno Smith, I love to bet against him, Jeff. Coming into this game, last 2, he's put up 3 interceptions. I think he's leaking oil. I think Chicago tonight at home, prime time. You're giving max effort on prime time. Everybody's playing for the next contract in the NFL. So Chicago +4 at home. I love it. Could be a little cold. It's a tough commute coming anywhere from Seattle. So I like Caleb Williams tonight. I like Geno to turn the ball over. Chicago +4. Lock it up on that. That's number 1, Jeff.
Okay, so we got Chicago. Next, you said Cincinnati and Denver. This is the second game on Saturday.
Chicago is tonight. No, that's Thursday. We're taping.
Correct.
So we have
correct.
two on Saturday. We've got Cincinnati -3, and then we've got the Rams -6.5. So Cincinnati, you know, this team should be undefeated, right, Jeff? You've got a quarterback playing at high level as anybody in the league. What's going on there? I don't know, Jeff, but we can't analyze too much.
Our defense
They
sucks. That's what the problem is.
they do. They do. But when you're up against, an offense that's struggling a little bit, and when we really punch the numbers on this one, you kind of look at, will a team play to their advantage? Will a team play to their numbers? So, you've got Denver coming in, averaging 24 points a game on offense, up against 28 points a game for Cincinnati. Then we look at defensively. You're going to have apparently an advantage for Denver, but I think scheduling helped them out a little bit. I think Cincinnati is going to be putting up 30 points in this game, and I just don't see Denver putting up that many points. They're leaking oil. Rookie quarterbacks, end of December, January, tend to have a big drop-off. Long season for them, right? These guys are used to playing, 10, 12, 13 games. You're getting into the high teens, 15, 16, 17 games. So we are all over Cincinnati at home, a must-win situation. Statistically, I think they're down to about a 9% chance to make the playoffs. So I still kind of like their chances. I think the league likes their chances. I think Cincinnati finishes strong, gets in the playoffs, but it has to start Saturday. And I love them at home. Laying 4, I think, is a discount, or laying 3, I think, is a discount, Jeff. So
Okay.
love them all day. Second game Saturday, the nightcap. We've got the Rams hosting Arizona. Rams coming on. Arizona stinks, Jeff, right? I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. That team stinks. We've got the Rams -6.5. When you punch the numbers, I mean, they're not even there. You've got offensively, I think an underrated Rams team when you look at their passing game when they're healthy, and for when you look at Arizona, what are we talking about here, right? I think they made a bad decision with their quarterback, Fitzgerald, and those are times of the past, right? So I like, at the end of the day, the Rams at home, must-win situation. This is a team, they're gunning to win this division, and I think they have this marked as a must-win situation. So I like the coaching. I like the veteran quarterback. I love everything about this game. So Rams, 100%. We're all over this one, -6.5. If it gets to 8, maybe not, but 6.5, we love.
Okay. What's your next play?
So, we're digging deep, Jeff. Green Bay at Minnesota. When we look at the first matchup, I believe Love threw 2, maybe 3 interceptions. I don't think at this point in the season we're going to see him do the same thing. I think Green Bay markedly is a better team. I think Minnesota, we like this term a lot from South Philly, a bit of a fugazi. It's snowing too, Jeff. I don't know where this came from, but it's snowing right now. Sun's out, snowing. I think we're in Vermont. I don't know, Jeff, but Green Bay -1 or getting 1, maybe even. If you can get it at 1, I like it even better. A team that's coming on, and they have to be 2 straight wins against the Seahawks and the Saints, Vikings revenge game. Division teams, especially when both teams are pretty good, tough to have a sweep. So I think everything lines up for Green Bay to win this game. I think Minnesota a little bit overrated. We've been looking for it all year, Jeff. Sam Darnold can't be this good, right? Maybe he is, Jeff. If he is, God bless him. We lose this bet, but I think Sam Darnold gets outplayed by Love, and I think Green Bay rolls this game. I think this is a double-digit win or more. Lock it up on them. Maybe a money line play. Might not be a bad thing. I mean, you're at even odds anyway, so we'll take the point if you can get it. Even -110. I love it, Jeff, all day.
All right. So you said the Commanders Falcons. You're taking the over on 48.5, correct?
I love it, Jeff. 48.5, 48 would be better, obviously. But I think Mike Penix Jr. showed this offense is going to run better. They're going to put up more points. The running game was better last week. I mean, they put up 34, and the guy they barely had to do anything in the second half. Granted, it's the Giants, but I think, and what Washington's doing on offense, I mean, how could we fault them, right? I mean, that kid's putting up points, and when you have 2 young quarterbacks that have, they've got loose arms, those guys. They've got fire in those arms. And, between Daniels and Penix, I think we're looking at a shootout. I could see both putting up 30. I think we're in the 50s, maybe 60s in this point. And, nothing to lose for either of these teams. They both need a win. I mean, especially Atlanta coming in first in the division. They got to win this one. So they're leaving it all out there. I don't think Mike Penix Jr.'s got anything to lose. That kid looked great last week. That arm is loose, and he's gunning it. I think for more long, plays down the field, look for Penix this week, and we know what Daniels can do. I mean, this kid's amazing too. I love him. I
Yeah.
love him with his feet too. They ran him against the Birds a little bit more, and that definitely hurt us. And I think that's an alert for all teams out there.
All right. And so what's the last play? Did you have one more play?
Did we miss one, Jeff? Let's run that down again. Let me get back to my list.
I've got 6 total.
We've got another one, Jeff. How can we bet against this guy? We've got Buffalo. Could the Jets get any worse, Jeff? At this point, what happened to this organization? If we go back a year, about 15 months, we go back to HBO. They got Aaron Rodgers coming in. Who was the reinvention of Jesus. His team looked great. Well, they've got guys picking players for Tecmo Bowl, Jeff. They're using Tecmo Bowl numbers. The owner's grandkids or whoever the hell these teenagers are, Jeff. I think Aaron Rodgers this week, I watched him on Pat McAfee. He said bye-bye. I think he checked out, Jeff. I don't know if you watched that. He pretty much said, I'm done. I'm out of here. He mocked the team, the ownership. I think when you look at that organization and what's happened, I think we're looking at a full-on quit from the New York Jets this week. I don't think Buffalo, they don't have an answer for them anyway. And the current line we're looking at, 9. I love it, Jeff. I think this is a 20-point win. I don't think Aaron Rodgers finishes the game. I'm just saying that right now. I wouldn't play the guy, Jeff. You can't mock the owner and his children, grandchildren, whoever the hell these young guys are. You can't do that in the NFL, right? I think they say, adios, amigo. Whoever they're playing, I don't even know who the Jets backup is. I don't think it's going to matter. I know defensively, I don't think they're going all out for Aaron Rodgers going to badmouth him on the Pat McAfee show. So I love Buffalo. I love Josh Allen. I'm calling it right now, Jeff. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl. I hate to say it. Hopefully Pittsburgh plays them in the semifinals, Jeff. But I'm seeing it. How's Josh Allen going to lose? I don't know. You look at the numbers this kid's putting up. I mean, they're on a tear, Jeff. They're on a tear. Yeah. They're going to put up 25 or more games. So we love Josh Allen at home. Again, kind of maybe not a must-win situation with Kansas City coming through yesterday, but I love Josh Allen against Aaron Rodgers. Maybe not even on the field.
I think this might be a record for number of picks in a week. So let me run these down for everyone out there that's listening and maybe wants to take notes. So we already lost the Steelers Chiefs, so that's neither here nor there. Tonight, because I'm going to run this on Thursday. Chicago, Seattle, in Chicago. The Bears getting 4. You're saying take the Bears. Then on Saturday, Cincinnati, Denver. Cincinnati's at home. They're giving 3. Doesn't matter. Take the Bengals. Then you also have the nightcap on Saturday. The Rams hosting the Cardinals, an NFC West matchup. The Rams are giving 6.5. Doesn't matter. Take the Rams. Green Bay at Minnesota. This is going to be a good game on Sunday. Green Bay is actually getting a point on the road in Minnesota. You're saying take the Packers to stay red hot. Atlanta and Washington will meet up, and this is going to be could be a high-flying game between Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels, over 48. You're saying take that over for sure. And then lastly, the Buffalo Bills, New York Jets. The Jets are a dumpster fire. The Bills are looking to really solidify themselves in the AFC playoff picture, and they are giving 9. It doesn't matter. Take the Bills. Did I miss anything?
Jeff, when we've seen advantage data, statistically, the algorithm hits, and all these are hitting. And, we love it. You've got all the data you're going to get this year on all these teams, right? And I think this is the time of year you make money, then you carry that into the playoffs. So these last 2 weeks, Pez's picks, we're going for it, Jeff. It's holiday week. We got to have action every day. I hope nobody's working out there. I know you are, Jeff. Someone's keeping the Fans First Sports Network growing. The rest of us are out there. We're skiing, Jeff. I don't know what we're doing out there. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but we're hot. We're feeling good. Vermont, we have sports betting now, so we're not breaking the law, Jeff. We don't have to hide from everybody. Vermont, as many smart states have done, sports gambling's legal. I say get outside, Jeff. The winter, the air's cleaner. It's a better time to get outside in the cold, and let's have some fun, right? Let's keep this thing going.
Love it, Pez. I hope you had a great holiday. I hope you have a great New Year. We'll be talking next week. We'll have a next round of the college football playoffs in Week 18, which can be a dynamo. It could be a minefield in the NFL. We'll be talking about that next week. But Pez, enjoy your weekend, man. Enjoy the games. We'll talk next week.
You too. Let's go Birds.